What is happening, fellow collectors? Atheris back again with another very awesome piece from my legendary scale collection. In front of us, as you can tell, we have the Wolf Predator from Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Probably the shittiest installment from the Predator franchise, but you know, they came up with some cool characters, so here we are. This piece is by Sideshow Collectibles, part of their legendary scale line, which they made in conjunction with ADI, Amalgamated Dynamics. This came out roughly 2 or 3 years ago. I think it sold out about a year ago, and probably one of the coolest pieces in the legendary scale line, I'd say, right next to the legendary scale Reaper that they put out not too long ago, also. And in terms of just badassness, this one takes the cake for the legendary scale line. I'm gonna give it a quick spin to show you how awesome the pose is on this. That's part of the reason why this thing is so damn cool, is because of the pose. There's nothing as dynamic as this piece in this scale put out by any company, really. So Sideshow and ADI did an awesome job on the design development of this. And detail-wise, just like the Reaper, has tons of shit to look at. Be here all day looking at this thing, and you don't get bored of it. You know when you get a few statues or a few pieces in your collection and you have them for a while, and then you know the interest or the appeal kind of wears off after a bit. That hasn't happened for me at all yet. It's just so cool to look at every time I see it that I haven't gotten bored of it yet. But came out, like I said, a couple years ago, and when it did, there was a few issues with it. I don't think they're very big issues, but some would disagree. And as you can tell, one of those issues was the netting on the legs, right here, which is not supposed to be on this piece. It wasn't part of the character design in the film. And therefore, everybody made a big stink about it when it came out, and that, you know, it should be completely screen accurate and all this stuff for the money. And yeah, to a degree, I agree. But this isn't like an end of the world type of mistake here. I mean, it's just basically extra netting on his leg, which to me, actually, I think it actually looks better with the netting on his leg, because it, you know, if he's got it on his torso, it kind of look incomplete if they didn't go all the way down. That's my personal opinion, but nobody's gonna give a shit anyway. I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, or if you don't have a side-by-side picture to compare it to, really, who the hell's gonna know that there was supposed to not be netting on his legs there? Nobody. So, what I say with this is, if you're really unhappy about the netting on his leg, and you're completist, accurist type of person, or hardcore alien collector that, you know, everything has to be 100% accurate or it's not worth your time type of shit, then take the netting off. But I'll warn you now, the problem with that is the netting here, where you see these little knots on the netting, here and here and here, those are glued right down to the leg, or right down to the paint. So if you're planning on taking off the netting, also plan on repainting the leg, because you're going to destroy the paint in the process, and honestly, it's not worth the time. To me, anyway, it's not worth it at all. Plus, it looks pretty cool like that anyway. I mean, look at it. And I also want you guys to know what a pain in the ass this thing was to get into this room, so I could film this video for you, because this thing weighs an absolute ton. Okay, probably 60 pounds at least, 65 pounds at least with the base. I didn't carry it in here like that, obviously. I had to take it apart and break it down and put it back together in here, because it's just ridiculously heavy. The whole piece is solid. It doesn't feel like any hollow parts in there at all. And it would make sense, being that in a pose like this, it's going to be extremely top heavy. The head alone, I'd say, like, it comes with 2 switch out heads, and I'll show you how those look in a minute. I'll switch them out. The heads alone probably weigh about 4 or 5 pounds, and the backpack is probably another pound and a half or so. This piece up here that comes off up here, the shoulder cannons, all this stuff comes off, but it's heavy. It's all solid. Just when you take him up off the base, because he plugs in, there's a metal rod that goes through his legs, or through that one leg, sorry, comes down and goes right through the alien shoulder into the base to hold him up. And he's heavy. He's extremely heavy. So I didn't just pick this up and walk it down the hall and plop it down in here. I had to disassemble it and put it back together. So, and those of you guys that have this already know that it's extremely heavy. But this comes with 2 swap out heads. The head I have on it right now is my favorite way to display it, actually. I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of collectors that already have this, that prefer the open mouth look without the mask. It's pretty cool too. Actually, here, let me get some close-ups on this head and the body before I switch stuff out here. It's cool too. I just prefer the masked head on this. But really great details. Paint application is not bad. It's I wouldn't say it's Cinemaquette type of quality, but it's up there, you know. It's pretty well. Focus, there we go. So these pieces here, this all leather, the sash here that he wears across his chest, that's removable. And again, leather. This necklace that he wears with the bone skulls, that's removable. Got the quills on the side of his face there. The shoulder cannons, these are removable. This one on his left shoulder is really the only one that you can move around a bit. The one on his right shoulder is kind of held in place. It's kind of a pain in the ass because his dreads get in the way and they stop it from being moved around, so it's somewhat stationary. But the you know, the paint job, or the paint application on the armor at least, is fairly well done. It looks like weathered and beaten up, you know, metal, like he's been in a few scuffles there, obviously. It's got a whip. This is not detachable. This comes already attached to his side via these leather straps here. The base is probably one of the coolest things of this piece. That you got an alien sliced in half that he's jumping over. It's really cool because you got his alien guts spilling out there, and you can see a little slime. This is like a little reservoir of alien blood over here. Very nicely done. Alien itself, the paint job on him is actually very well done. Compared to other alien pieces I've had in the past, I've had their alien warrior maquette a while ago, and I think the paint job on this is how that should have looked, but all very nice. His whip here is removable, and it is posable as well. You can see it bouncing around there. You could just basically twist it into any shape or you know, form that you want. And that's actually a pretty good feature if you have shelving issues or space issues. That way you can actually use the whip and use it to shape it in any way you want to get it in a Besta or in a shelf or wherever you want to put it. Versus the spear, which I'll try swapping out here near the end, is a lot bigger. I think it's about 20 inches long, 24 inches long or so. It takes up a hell of a lot more room, and obviously you don't have that kind of play to move around with it. So but let me swap out the heads. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. This is a little tricky, like I said, because the dreads get in the way when you swap out the heads. And when you're pressing it in, sometimes the dreads push the head right back out of the body, so it's a pain in the ass. So I'm going to try to do this without breaking anything. See if I can get a close up here so you guys can watch this. And also, the second head comes with a display stand of its own. Let me show you this first before I carry on. Which Sideshow designed with this, which is pretty cool because this head's so cool, it would be a shame not to display it as well alongside the actual statue. So, and it's reversible, right? So if you don't want that head that's already in the body, you take that out, put it in here, or you put this in the body, whichever. But it's a cool way to display both at the same time. So let me take out that head. All right. So gently pull it out. Get it out of the base. There we go. Okay, so, and now gently with this head, you kind of got to get the dreads under the gun first. And then find the hole for the pin. And press it down. This is what I mean. It's a pain in the ass to get this head on because the gun gets in the way of a lot of shit. And pushes the head right back out. So you gotta wiggle around with it and play with it a little bit before it actually sits in there properly. But I'm gonna leave it like that for now. I don't want to break it or anything. But this is what it looks like with that head. Hell of a lot more menacing, for sure. Got a lot more detail in the mouth. This is where I'd say Sideshow did a pretty good job, at least with the mouth. This is very similar to the Cinemaquette version or piece. So they did pretty well there. You got his eyes are done very well. The scarring, the missing mandible on the left side of his face. You can see what I mean up here. The gun gets in the way of the dreads, so you kind of have to play around with it. So I'll try swapping out the hand with the spear quickly just to show you how that looks. There you go. So as I was saying, and you can see, that spear takes up a hell of a lot more room than the whip. It's cool too, but I personally prefer the whip just because it adds to the dynamicness of the actual piece. Very great statue though. Very glad I got it. I say that with all my pieces, but this one I'm actually really glad I got. I was on the fence with it for a bit. just because of the open edition size part, and ended up scoring one just before it sold out, so got that one in time. The Predator 2 maquette that Sideshow recently sold out of and showed at San Diego Comic-Con last year, I missed. I was waiting for an edition size for that one as well, and sold out before I could even put an order in, so hopefully my waitlist converts. I can add it to the collection here. There you have it, guys. The Sideshow Wolf Predator conjunction with ADI. Very badass piece. Very sought after at this point. Very hard to come by and actually get your hands on one because prices are through the roof on this now. Who thought there'd be so much demand for such a shitty movie? But, you know, Predator's Predator. Everybody loves Predator. And like I said, I think the pose on this is half the selling point. It's just so cool. And the base. Anyway, guys, thanks for looking. I don't want this to go on too long. And rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will talk to you in the next video. Take care.